Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. If live breaking news and following true crime is your thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see in my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to J is for Justice. If you are new to my channel, welcome and make yourself known in the chat room. Make sure that you follow us on all of your socials. And like this video, because we're going to be getting into Tim Ferriter. And I have a little extra. I was late, so I'm sorry I'm 5 minutes late. Shell's new. Welcome, Shell. Welcome, Shell, to the channel. Welcome, Shell, to the channel today. Little Kaza and Feminem and Gemmers and Olive Juice. We got Lucia and we got the Potato Head. We got, who else? Unseen. Trixie's. What's up, Trix? Melissa B. We got Dandy, my fellow Dreadhead Queen. Kendi. Olive Juice. Angie B. Angie B. I was calling you out in Discord last night, but you were probably snoozing. Crazy 8, hello, Michelle. Thank you guys for joining. So, oh, Crazy 8, I've missed you as well. I'm glad you're here. Paul Clink, coming in hot. Thank you. Buck99. He says, I enjoyed your kind words eating my rice Chex. Are you a rice Chex fan? Corn Chex or wheat Chex? When you eat Chex Mix at Christmas time, what's your favorite? What is your favorite? You didn't do anything wrong? What up, Claudette? On Facebook? So when I eat Chex Mix, wheat Chex are my favorite in the Chex Mix. All right. It's okay, Island. We're going to go over it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to watch Tim Ferriter because Tim Ferriter thinks that he shouldn't have to sit in jail awaiting sentencing. So before I start the audio on this, oh, Shell, happy Friday to you too. We have a loaded show this afternoon. Thank you so much. Coming in hot, $9.99. Wow. Thank you. This is from yesterday. Yes, my 3 sons. Oh, he's scared. All right, so let's get into it. I just wanted to give you guys a little warning. The judge sounds like he swallowed the mic. Psh, 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 psh. So you may want to turn your volume down to start with because I don't have a whole lot of control over it. Good morning, Ernstine. I hope I said that right. Thank you for making yourself known in chat. All right, so you might want to turn it down a little because I'm serious. It's super loud in the beginning. It evens itself out. But I just wanted to give you guys a little warning on that. So I'm going to press play now. Hopefully you've turned it down a little.
All right, court is in session. Court calls up the matter of State versus Ferriter. We're hearing a motion to set bond. May we have appearances, please?
On behalf of the state, Brianna Coakley.
On behalf of Mr. Ferriter, Kuram Wahid, Mr. Ferriter is present.
All right, court notes that Mr. Ferriter is present in the jury box. Mr. Wahid, it's your motion. You may proceed.
Wait, why is Mr. Ferriter sitting in the jury box? Because he's a prisoner? And he's allowed to wear a suit to this hearing? Don't you think he should be there in his jailhouse outfit? Here, I'm going to put the captions up here for y'all. Here we go.
Judge, we're asking for a bond pre-sentence for Mr. Ferriter. He was charged in this matter by information in March of 22. He was out on bond on a $50,000 bond, is my understanding. From then up until the end of the trial, he never missed a court appearance. He appeared as the court required, either live or by Zoom, for every appearance that was required by the court. Currently, the sentencing is set for November 16th. It's less than a month away. It would be of great assistance to the defense for Mr. Ferriter to be out of custody in order to assist in our preparation for the sentencing hearing. He currently is able to put forth a bond package of $100,000 monetary bond, surrender his passport, and provide and is willing to use a GPS monitor, level 1.
Okay, anything else, Mr. Wayne? Do you intend to put on any evidence in regard to this motion?
I am not. I'm relying on the fact that the docket reflects the fact that Mr. Ferriter has never missed court. The purpose of bond is to continue to make sure that the defendant appears for court. There is no doubt that Mr. Ferriter is going to appear for his sentencing hearing. He's appeared all the way through and continues to intend to comply with all of the court orders. I would also point out that he does not have any custody of the children, and therefore there is no issue there. We are, as I said, preparing for for the sentencing, and we may be needing to prepare his statements as well.
All right, so even though you're not going to put on any evidence, let me have you at least speak to the issue of flight risk, because that's obviously the central issue to
Yeah,
a
he's a
court
flight
anytime
risk.
you're
He's been way out of the
considering,
country. His buddy from Australia.
post-conviction release, whether it's pending sentencing or even after or pending appeal.
Ooh, probably, Patty.
I don't know anything about the defendant's background in the sense of what his financial resources are, what his travel experience is, that guides me and informs me as to whether he could be a flight risk or not. And so are you going to give me any enlightenment as to that, through the evidence? Because the cases that I've read on this tell me that I can't just draw a conclusory determination that a defendant is a flight risk, and I have to base it on specific evidence. But
He doesn't
in
like
this
being
type
in a
of
box.
motion,
Look at him.
the motion burden would be with the defendant, right? You agree with that?
I do, which is why, in order to deal with that issue, because from our position in terms of a bond request, we'd have to be able to deal with that issue in our bond package, of which that includes surrender
He
of
is so
passport,
anxious.
which
Wait.
I'm prepared to.
Why is he shaking? Is he anxious? He's not. He did his hair, but look, he hasn't shaved. He's not digging the jailhouse shavers. He doesn't want to scar his perfect skin.
do today. I have it with me. I'm
my
also
God.
be able to tell the court where he'll be residing. I don't want to do it right now in open court, the address, but it would be in Palm Beach County.
Okay, so let's talk about how Timmy might be feeling in prison, okay, or in jail. So, based on what I know about Chris Watts, okay, Chris Watts, when he was in the county jail, he was yelled at. He was told to kill himself. He was constantly had things yelled at him, like all the time. So I wonder if the inmates in Palm Beach County are doing that to Tim Ferriter. So what would be really interesting is to get someone who's like in the Palm Beach County jail right now, and then when they get out, contact them and see what they say about Tim Ferriter in that jail. Because I bet you he's getting harassed.
So he would be under the jurisdiction of this county. He would also, as I said, have a GPS monitor level 1. And so all of the issues related to flight risk can be managed through what I've been
Look
proposing.
at those eyes.
I do think
Those eyes have
that-
never been more black than they are right now.
and I'm sure the court is
Look at his eyes right now. And if you remember during the trial, he never blinked. He never blinked. Yes, exactly, Island. Even prisoners have a moral compass when it comes to kids. Yes, like he yelled at his kids. This right here, I mean, this is more justice we're seeing. That's why I wanted to show it.
aware that he has lived in another state at some point. In terms of travel and that sort of thing, there's no intention to leave the state of Florida. In fact, not even leave the county.
Where's Father
of Palm
Dolan
Beach.
now, Ferriter?
All right, anything else, Mr. White?
Father Dolan gonna save you?
No, not at this time, Judge.
All right,
Didn't
Ms.
think
Coakley?
so.
Your Honor, there is,
He is so
one
anxious.
case that I was able to find on it. I'll provide it to the state, which is Kraft v. State. And that case basically stands for the proposition that it's in the discretion of the court. I can provide it to you.
Get 'em,
No, I
girl.
have it. I already have it, and I've read it.
And the things that Kraft says that we look at is flight risk, as well as they said that was an important consideration was whether or not there was a mandatory prison sentence in this case. There is.
Speak to me on that, because we're obviously not at sentencing yet, but
Hey, Frag.
in looking at Kraft, and also, I think it was the Cheatham versus Novell decision, one of the things that I can consider is whether there is a mandatory sentence involved, because that informs on the issue of potential flight risk. So tell me what, without obviously us being at the sentencing hearing at this point, tell me what the mandatories are that we are looking at
The
here.
bottom of the guidelines in this case is 75 months.
75 months. So that's a little over 6 years.
Correct, Your Honor. And obviously, Your Honor has discretion all the way up to 40 years in the Department of Corrections, which is a substantially significant posture than when the defendant was on pre-trial, especially since the state, first of all, he's convicted, and second, there's additional charges here. He was on pre-trial release as to 2 charges. Immediately before trial, the state added a 3rd charge. So that's a fundamental difference in his position, besides the fact that he's been convicted, and now that there's a mandatory prison sentence. That creates a substantial risk of a flight risk, Your Honor, that was not present before, and also leans against that it would be appropriate for pre-sentencing release. I think, Your Honor, as Your Honor knows, it's an incredibly rare thing for there to be a pre-sentence release. There are
That's what I was just going to say. I was just going to ask that question to you guys. Like, have you ever seen anyone who was convicted who's getting like a really long sentence actually get out prior to their sentencing? That'd be like letting Caitlin Armstrong out pre-trial at this point. Jammer says he's lived a spoiled life. Well, now he lives a lonely life. Now he lives a lonely life.
are very specific guidelines that dictate post-sentence release. But this type of posture is incredibly rare, and I cannot think of a case in my career where there was a pre-sentence release.
I tend to agree with you, but in anticipation of this hearing, I did a significant amount of research myself, and I was already familiar with the Kraft decision.
It is in your discretion.
Yeah,
That is the accurate statement of the law. You could do it.
It is, and let me tell you, I don't know if you reviewed the Batiste versus State decision. That's at 134 Southern 3rd, 1025. And this is a decision that, because my general feeling of the law was what you've just stated. It is exceptionally rare to grant bond pre-sentencing. But in the Batiste case, the court made a couple statements, and one of those statements that gives me some concern in terms of what I have to decide here is the exercise of that discretion. And basically, the Batiste decision said that a trial court judge does not satisfy the requirement to make written findings in support of denial of post-trial release, because if I deny this, I have to do a written order, by merely making conclusory findings unsupported by the record. Rather, the rule governing such motion in the Youngins decision, which is where the post-conviction guidance comes from in terms of bail or bond pending appeal, on which the rule is based, embody the Supreme Court's determination that decisions regarding post-trial release must be reasoned, and therefore a mere verbatim recital of the considerations in Youngin will not suffice to fulfill the requirements. And so what I think that tells me is I can't just draw the conclusory or make a conclusory allegation that he's a flight risk. I have to be able to point to evidence in the record that would substantiate the conclusion that he's a flight risk. And so with that in mind, tell me from the state standpoint, and I think you've already pointed to one, the minimum sentence that he's facing.
Guess what? I do today.
The guidelines, and then the maximum up to 40 years.
I do today. Listen.
Are there other factors
Listen,
that
Linda.
would weigh in support of the state's position that there's additional evidence like not sufficient ties to the community, world traveler, those kinds of things that would
Thank
affect
you,
my
Wendy. I'm
decision?
glad,
Sure, Your
I'm
Honor,
glad
and
you
I
found
think
us
that
too.
part of this is it's the defense's motion, and so they should bear the evidentiary burden of establishing that he's not a flight risk. He came to trial and came to prior court dates is not, I think, a sufficient legal basis for Your Honor to conclude that he's not a flight risk, right? They have the evidentiary burden before then that the state has to rebut that. But I would say based on the information that we have in this case, the defendant has huge international contacts. His very close friend flew from Australia for the purpose of
Oh, yeah.
testifying on his behalf. And so he has contacts throughout the world.
Yes, he does. Remember Aussie? Aussie looking like they were going to go out and have a beer after court. Fist pumping. Losers.
Who have made extraordinary efforts to be in support of him. In addition, the defendant has resided internationally. He resided in Spain for a period of time during the time when with the children at a certain point.
Thank you,
and so,
Island.
And I also think as to say that he's a flight risk, there is no local residence. The defendant, the home that was at issue in this case was sold. Based on the information the state has, we have no indication that he owns any local property in Palm Beach County. The defense has not provided the address of where he will be living.
Get her. Get
so
him,
that there
I
can
mean.
be any checks
Get 'em,
as to
girl.
the ties there. He also is not the one that posted the monetary bond in this case. The bondsman was supplanted in this case by a friend who posted the entirety of the bond. And so the financial risk here is not the defendant, it's one of his supporters. And so that is a consideration as to whether or not a bond would be an appropriate check here, because he doesn't have a local residence, he doesn't have any financial involvement in the bond if it's being posted by a friend. All of those are considerations. In addition, the defense
OMG. Did you just hear what she said? The friend was putting up the money. Mr. Aussie was going to pay for Timothy Ferriter to get out. Meg, what's up? My girl, my girl. The friend from Australia was going to pay for this shit bag to get out. And then I bet you he was going to take him down under. I wonder how good of buddies they really are.
has articulated that he doesn't have any continuing contact with the children. That is just not true. The youngest child in this case was adopted by his co-defendant's parents, and he's had continuing contact with that child.
Wait, what? Their kid, their youngest, was adopted by her parents?
Child in this case was adopted by his co-defendant's parents, and he's had continuing contact with that child.
What is wrong with these people? So they knew that if they went to, oh my God, they had her parents, Tracy's parents, adopt the youngest child. What the hell? Are you kidding?
What?
Even since he's been in custody. And so there is a substantial risk, and I think it's important to note that that child was removed from his custody by the Department of Children and Families. That dependency case closed when the adoption took place. And so there's a risk even that he'll have continuing contact with a minor child, or even be living in a home with a minor child. We don't know that because the defense hasn't provided any evidentiary support for where he'll be living, who he'll be willing left, and whether or not only we can prevent him from fleeing, but we can protect the community. from someone who has now been convicted of multiple crimes against a child. And so based on all of that, I don't think that they've reached their evidentiary burden, but there's substantial support for the idea that he has a risk, especially in consideration in light of the bottom of the guidelines in this case in a mandatory prison sentence.
Okay, all right, thank
Okay, hold on. I have a question. So, if you're convicted of child abuse, oh, sorry, I had to sneeze. If you're convicted of child abuse, how is it that you can have any contact with any children? Shouldn't that be like a stipulation that you can't talk to you? Thank you, potato. Thank you, Olive. Shouldn't that be a stipulation that you can't have any contact with a child? Why isn't that in his conviction? This is so weird. He should never be able to talk to the child, especially if it's been adopted out. Thank you, Punani. Thank you, Punani, my baby. But I don't understand that.
Niggas wife me once they get that good punani.
I don't understand how he can have any contact with the child.
Thank you. Ms. Coakley, rebuttal, Mr. White?
God almighty.
So I'm familiar with Kraft. The issue in terms of burden to start with is it's our burden to deal with the securing of his return to court, which is the entire purpose of bond. And we're dealing with that through the issues that we brought up as to surrendering his passport and a GPS monitor, and that he will be residing in Palm Beach County. In terms of the address, I'm happy to provide the address to the state. I'm
Yes,
happy
please
to
do.
have
What
them go and
address?
do whatever they need to do to make sure that there's no child at the house or anything of that nature. In terms of the bond amount, there's nothing in the case law that says who puts up the money. That was irrelevant. And in terms of
Why is it irrelevant? Because bond is typically, it creates financial exposure for the defendant putting up the bond or for his family that's putting up the bond. If he's not the one that put up the bond, why isn't that a factor I can consider in the sense that the normal scenario where the defendant
Fucking
would feel the
fuzzy
financial
slippers
pressure of
and
the
lip
bond
gloss.
doesn't exist here if someone else has put it up?
Well, because first of all, even if as to the previous bond, this is what we're talking about, right? The $50,000 bond, sure. So clearly, he did continue to come to court on that. So the evidence in the record is that it did work. He did continue to come to court all the way through trial. So there's no issue that, I don't think the state's even saying that he missed a court date. So there's no issue that didn't work. Of course it worked.
No one said he
We know.
missed a court date.
We went all through the process.
Except the scenario is radically different now, post-conviction. Do you agree with the representations by Ms. Coakley that the defendant has sold his home in Jupiter that was his residence at the start of this trial, and he no longer owns a residence here in Palm Beach County?
One moment, Judge.
He doesn't know if the dude sold his house or not. Look at the judge. Look at the judge's face. He's like, okay, this should not be a trick question. Why do you have to go confer with your client? I bet they did some shady shit with the sale of their home. What do you want to bet? That there's some shit that they did that's shady. Mike Sanner says if he was out, he'd have to report to someone weekly, similar to a parole officer. I don't see the judge letting him out. It begs the question, how long would it take to come up with a sentence? 5 minutes? The defense doesn't even have an address for him. So if these parents are supposed to not let him have any contact, and they are, don't you think that that should be addressed with the court? Let's go back and hear this part about the house again, because this is weird.
With the representations by Ms. Coakley that the defendant has sold his home in Jupiter that was his residence at the start of this trial, and he no longer owns a residence here in Palm Beach County?
One moment, Judge.
Oh, I
And
bet
while you're
you he
asking,
did.
meeting with your client, I'd like to also know, do you agree with Ms. Coakley's representations that the defendant has lived in Spain for a period of time with his children?
Look at this. Oh, yeah, my Aussie friend bought it, but don't tell the judge that. This is ridiculous.
What you are witnessing is real. The participants are not actors.
So as I think it did come out even in the trial, and so the state knows that Mr. Ferriter did live in Spain, but that was in 2009. And that issue of international travel is remedied by both the surrender of passport and a GPS level 1 monitor. In terms of does he own a home, he does not at this point own a home. It is not the first time somebody who doesn't own a home, though, can still, live somewhere and not be in custody during the pendency of the case. We're looking at a relatively short span of time that we're asking for. We're asking for from now till November 16th. So I think that steps can be made to deal with any additional concerns the court may have.
There's the Zoom. Look at, there's a lot of people on Zoom here. I wonder who all these people are. Some of them probably YouTubers or something, but there's Tracy front and center. Very concerned. She wants her Timmy out. Is Aussie on here? Do we see Aussie? Is Aussie guy top left with the glass doors behind him? Is that the Aussie friend? Or is that the Aussie friend on the far right looking like Richard Allen? Aussie, Richard Allen looking ass.
But flight risk should not be one, because with no passport and a GPS monitor, the court would be informed of any violation of that situation. And if he's in Palm Beach County, he's under the jurisdiction of the court the entire time. So I do think that is remedied. In terms of the issue of is the mandatory sentencing, my understanding of the years I've been doing the mandatory sentencing, what we're talking about is if there's a minimum mandatory statutory minimum. There really isn't here. There's a guidelines range, and the bottom of that guidelines range is as the state just put out. But
Do you
that,
agree that it's 75 months as represented by Ms. Coakley?
I have no idea what it is.
No reason to,
I have no reason to doubt it. I just don't know what it is. I let the state
this guy.
score, folks. I don't really bother. But I will say
Wait,
this.
what?
That
What
the
is-
court can downward depart. The court
What does he
can
not
upward
bother with? I just don't bother. I let the state deal with that. I don't bother. With what, the math?
I have no reason to doubt it. I just don't know what it is. I let the state score, folks. I don't really bother. But I will say this, that the court can downward depart. The court can upward depart. The court has full discretion at sentencing. The court knows that. So there's no minimum mandatory in that sense. So we've dealt with both the issue of flight risk. We've dealt with the state's issue as to that the circumstances have dramatically changed. The only additional charge, which was put on, I think, a week before the trial, was the neglect charge, which is an F3. It doesn't substantially change the score, quite frankly. And I do think that it's important to note that we're looking at a very relatively short time frame that we're talking about.
Same
before we
here in
get to
Florida,
sentencing.
Patty.
but it's a relatively short time frame that follows the conviction and adjudication by the court on the charges. So I know I'm telling you what you already know, that radically changes the calculus between pre-conviction, pre-trial, and the considerations that I look at post-conviction. I mean, the risk of flight is always an issue even in pre-trial, but once the adjudication occurs, it's something that we really have to look at that point, because now we've passed the precipice of an adverse jury verdict at this point. So any additional argument that you wish to make on any of the points that we've raised? Any other factors in Youngins that you would ask that I consider? And I get that Youngins is the standard for bond pending appeal, but some of the cases I've read said the same considerations are appropriate for bond pending sentencing as well.
Well, I think Youngins and his progeny really also talk about the fact that what is the purpose of the bond? The purpose is to
How ironic that they're quoting a case called Youngins. After he abused Youngins, his attorney is quoting a case, Youngins.
ensure the defendant comes to
a
court when the
sign.
court requests it. And I think you can look at, in terms of evidentiary value, the record in this case, going back to March of 22, where, as I've said a few times now, he's never missed a court appearance. I think that the hypothesizing of what might happen should be better predicated upon what's already happened. And so we know he's come to court. We know that whether he was in state or out of state, he made those appearances. In terms of the bond, whomever put up the bond in the past doesn't have to be who puts it up in the future. If the court wants some assurance that Mr. Ferriter is participating in putting up money of his own in this bond, we can put that as a condition. But I do think that it would be of great assistance to the defense to prepare in this short span of time for the sentencing to have better access to Mr. Ferriter between now and November 16th.
What do they need more access to him for? He's completely accessible in the Palm Beach County Jail. As a matter of fact, it'd probably be way easier to find Mr. Ferriter in the county jail than it would if you let him out with Mr. Ozzie.
All right, thank you. Court is going to take this under advisement. My review of the case law and of the rule tells me that I need to make specific findings in regard to my ruling on this motion, so that's going to
Wait, what?
require that I put together a written order, and I will move promptly to get an order out as quickly as possible, but it's not something that I can rule from the bench without.
Why can't he rule from the bench? This dude has been convicted of child abuse. He doesn't own a home. He's lived out of the country several times. His friend from out of the country is putting up his bond. And he can't rule from the bench. This judge throughout this whole trial could not make a decision on the bench. He never made a decision. Every damn objection, he had them come up to his bench. Psh, 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 psh.
Without doing what the cases tell me and the rule tells me, draft an order with findings to support whatever my ruling is. So anything else I need to address before we recess on this hearing?
No, Your Honor, but if you're at all inclined, the state would absolutely recommend that he can have no contact with children and no contact with the co-defendant should he be released. So I just want to make that would be very important to the state.
Okay. All right, good enough then. Court is in recess. Thank you.
Can you guys even believe what we just watched? How is that not a straight no? How is that not straight up, how about Mr. Ferriter? You should have thought about what jail would be like before you put your son in one, in your garage. Oh, I don't think he can do a reverse Spidey. He can't do a reverse Spidey. Can you imagine him getting out? Keister says because the judge wants to go through each argument and make a written response, so there's no chance for appeal. Keister, thanks for talking me down. I really can't stand these people. And it just makes me sick that he even has the audacity to ask. This tells me he has zero remorse for what he did. He thinks he should go on and still see his kid, see his baby. Hot pink. The judge was a Marine sergeant. Was he really, Amy? Well, I've got some more stuff up my sleeve for you guys this morning. Coffee and crime this morning. We've got some records requests that came in just in time so we can go over these. Let me make sure you guys can see them. Are they big enough where you guys can read them? Can you read along? Or do I need to make it bigger? That's what she said. Ah, shit. What'd I just do? So we are anxiously awaiting that written order from the judge. This was just happening yesterday, so. All right, let's see. Is that big enough? He would. He'd be running. Oh, yeah. Speaking of sleeves, we have hoodies. I'm going to put some more in there, too. But we've got a couple new hoodies in the merch store. Rayanne says, poor Timmy can't even take a week in jail after locking his son for hours in a box. Okay, so this one is Timothy Dune Ferriter. This is the arrest notice to appear. I don't think we've looked at any of this. But you guys are going to be shook at what they did after the cops were there. Oh my gosh, Myron, you're going to be so mad. Thank you. Myron, $4.99 super sticker. Thank ya. Thank ya. And I want to give a special shout out to Miss Wendy Sunshine. She is a new sub and she's happy she found us, guys. Thank you so much. BC. Okay, so let's take a gander at these. Let's read through these. On Sunday, January 30th, 2022, I was on call. I was the on-call detective for Jupiter Police Criminal Investigations. At 1900 hours, I was notified by the Criminal Investigation Division supervisor to respond to the Jupiter Police Department regarding a missing person. So this is when Ronan was missing. Upon arrival, I made contact with Officer Jurak, who advised the following info. In late December 2021, Officer Jurak responded to a police service call at the Jupiter Police. The complainant on the call, only identified as Jack, advised he was contacted by the owner of blank in Jupiter to build an office in the garage of the residence. Jack advised he agreed to the job, but after receiving the instructions for the build, he began thinking it was very strange. This is the hero here, Jack. Jack advised the room was built as an 8x8 foot space in the garage with its own ceiling and door. Jack further advised the door had a deadbolt and a knob only on the outside, no knob inside. So if someone were inside the office, they would not be able to exit unless someone opened the door from the outside. Jack stated he was also instructed to build this space with electricity and install a window air unit, as well as a camera in the ceiling, and stated the entire project was to be completed in 2 days. On Friday, January 28th, 2022, Officer Klonek and Officer Picard responded to blank regarding a missing person. They made contact with Tracy Christine Ferriter. Oh, her birthday was yesterday. Oh, her birthday was yesterday. He was trying to get out on her birthday. Yo. Tracy. She had a birthday yesterday. Should we do our happy birthday? Not. Oh my God. Who advised the following? Blank. Who will be blank? Blank was missing and has run away from home on several occasions before. I wonder why. Tracy stated blank has several behavioral disorders and advised he was in trouble at school the day prior, which is why she believed he ran away. Tracy stated the school contacted her at approximately 15:45 this date to advise her blank was not present in his last class. Tracy advised she waited in the pickup line, but he never showed. Officer Picard and Officer Klonek checked the surrounding areas, including St. Peter's Church and neighboring parks where Tracy advised blank may have gone, with negative results. On Sunday, January 30th, Officer Smith and Officer Collins traveled to the Ferriter residence in an attempt to make contact with Tracy to see if blank had returned home. Officers attempted to knock on the door with negative results. Officer Collins made a phone call to Tracy, who advised she was not home and stated blank had not returned. Officer Collins asked if she and Officer Smith could enter the home to check for blank, and Tracy advised she did not want anyone to enter her residence. At approximately 2200 hours on Sunday, January 30th, Sergeant Kimbark and I traveled to the Ferriter residence. I made contact with Tracy and asked if Blank had returned home. She said he had not. I asked Tracy if I could enter the residence to check for Blank or for clues in his bedroom regarding where he may be. She denied me entry, stating she did not feel comfortable with officers inside her residence without her husband present. Wow. After a long conversation, Tracy agreed to allow me into the residence only and stated Sergeant Kimbark needed to wait outside. Unbelievable, these people. Tracy brought me inside the residence and directed me to a room immediately inside the home and to the right of the front door. This room is described as a small office. Tracy stated had been converted into a bedroom. Inside of the room was a small crib to the left, and on the floor was a small plaid blanket and a pillow that Tracy advised Blank used, stating him and Blank share the room together. The inside of the room was vibrant and painted and had several small toys and belongings seeming to belong to Blank, as the toys were designed for younger ages. So this was the baby's room. When asked where Blank's belongings were, Tracy then took me through the kitchen and advised he had toys and some belongings in the Florida room. Tracy stated further there was a structure that the family built for Blank in the garage. Tracy brought me to the garage and showed me the structure. The structure is described as a small room with a plain white door. The door was open and had a doorknob and deadbolt, both locking from the exterior. To the left of the door was a light switch, also on the exterior. Inside the room to the right was a small, plain box spring, and on top of that, a mattress with a gray sheet and a pillow. Straight in the room was a small, dark-colored desk with school books and small children's books, along with a foldable chair. Above the bed in the room was a black Ring brand camera. It should be noted that the room was a small, plain white structure with no paint or color on the walls and appeared to be plain drywall. Bare drywall, sorry. The floor was a bare garage floor with part of an indoor-outdoor rug covering it. While showing the space, Tracy had several different explanations for the room, stating first the room was built as an office for her husband. When questioned regarding the exterior lock, Tracy stated the room was used for storage for the family and then advised it was the space used by, quote, all the children. When asked why there was a bed and a box spring inside, Tracy finally advised the space was, quote, sometimes used by Blank. After speaking with Tracy, I checked the surrounding areas for Blank with negative results. On Monday, January 31st, I traveled to Blank, where I made contact with teachers and staff, along with Palm Beach School District Police Officer Deemer. All staff members advised Blank had not returned to school and stated they would advise me if he did. At approximately 11 o'clock, Officer Deemer called and said he believed Blank was somewhere on campus, stating he believed he saw him on a security camera. Members of the SUAS team deployed a drone and were able to locate Blank running near the front of the campus. Officer Deemer and Detective Jordan made contact with Blank near the front of the campus. Then he went to the Jupiter Police Department. Once back at Jupiter Police Department, I conducted an initial fact-finding recorded interview with Blank. Advised he knew the truth between a lie. He knew the difference between a truth and a lie, and promised to tell me the truth. Blank advised he resides at his home. Tracy, Tim, and then his siblings are all listed. I asked Blank to describe a typical day for him, and he stated in the morning he's woken up by Blank because his, quote, door is locked. Blank advised Blank would wake him up in the morning, tell him to go to the bathroom, and then he would go back to his room, which we all heard. This is all true because we heard this in court. We heard the recordings of them coming in going, "Get up! Time to get up! Go to the bathroom!" They're awful people. Blank stated Blank would lock the door and usually turn the lights off. Blank advised he would be in his room until Blank and return from dropping his Blank off at school. Ronan advised, I'm just going to say Ronan advised once he was home, she would feed him breakfast consisting of a banana and a piece of bread and peanut butter. Stated after he was finished eating, she would come back to the room and he would get dressed and go to school. After school, he stated Tracy would pick him up and return home and he would go back to his room. I asked Blank to describe his room and he stated it was 8 by 8. Further stated the room had a lockable doorknob and all those things we know. He also stated that Blank would always lock him in the room, stating usually the bottom knob was the one that was locked. He stated he had to stay in his room when they are not home or when they want him to be in there. When asked how often he is in the room, he said a lot. I asked him if he was home, if he would be playing with his friends or family, and he said no, he would be reading books in his room. Stated he was not allowed to go anywhere else in the house. I asked him if he would like to be in his current room or a different room. He stated a different room. I asked why he ran away, and he stated, quote, "Because I feel like no one loves me." I asked Blank if he felt safe at home, and he stated he did not, because Blank gets really aggressive with him. When asked to describe how Blank gets aggressive, he stated once Blank slammed him against a wall by his neck and struck him in the face with an open hand. When asked how often Blank has been physical with him, he stated it happened a lot in Arizona. I asked Blank to describe discipline. He stated he gets profane and angry, and he sometimes spits in my face. Blank further stated his discipline consists of spanking with a belt. I asked if he ever sleeps in the room with Blank. He stated he does not. Blank advised the longest he could remember being locked in the room was 16 to 18 hours. He also advised that they provided him with a bucket to go to the bathroom, in stating he has used the bucket several times in the past. He is made to dump it out in the backyard and clean it out. He eats most of his meals in his bedroom, which consist of leftovers after the rest of the family eats. Advised he is not in his room or at school. He is outside in the yard doing yard work. Blank makes him do until being locked back inside the room. He said that Blank is very physically abusive to him and he is fearful he may knock him out. He advised he had a room in Arizona similar to the room he had now, stating the room was 8 by 10. Near the end of the interview, he said he did not want to return to his family and pleaded with me to arrest him, stating he would rather be in prison than back at home. Blank further stated he had suicidal thoughts. Horrible, horrible. And this guy has the audacity to ask to get out. On Tuesday, February 1st, members of the Special Victims Unit of the Florida Department of Children and Families and I removed Blank from her school, while others removed the other children from the Ferriter residence. Both were brought to the Child Protection Team in West Palm Beach. Okay, so this must be the sister. While speaking, she confirmed the allegations. When discussing the room, she began crying and became emotional, advising she wanted to do the right thing for Blank. She further stated that there is Blank monitor. Blank described the punishments he received are extremely different from the ones she and her other siblings receive. They get their phone taken away or other restrictions. However, when Ronan is in trouble, he gets locked in his room, made to do yard work or write sentences. She advised she has seen Blank grab Blank by the neck. She has heard Blank through the walls of his bedroom. Ronan has told her he has been hit with a belt and a jump rope. She advised he had been locked in his room for hours at a time and used a bucket to go to the bathroom and stated he has used the bathroom on the floor before. After the interview, Blank had her interview. During this interview, she confirmed all the statements. She advised she doesn't know exactly what the room looks like as she has not seen it in some time, but she knows the room is in the garage and has a lock on the exterior. These poor kids. Blank stated she missed Blank and wished he were not in trouble, as she has not been able to play with him lately. Blank stated over the weekend while Blank was missing, her mother took her and Blank to Tampa for a softball tournament. So while he was missing, Tracy took the kids on the other side of the state. Now, mind you, these people live in Palm Beach County. Jupiter is on the East Coast. So it's probably 3.5, 4-hour drive to get to Tampa. And this bish drove that far away while Ronan was missing. Unreal. Based on the information gained from the forensic interviews of the children, a search warrant for the Ring device was sought. Thousands of videos were obtained which showed Blank being repeatedly locked in his room daily. Each morning when Timothy greets Blank, he asks him, "Is it dirty?" and points to the bucket. Blank has to use to relieve himself that is kept in the corner of the bedroom. In one video, Blank advises the bucket is dirty. Timothy yells at him to clean it, and Blank goes off camera. On Wednesday, February 2nd, Detective Jordan and I traveled to the previous Ferriter residence located at Blank in an attempt to make contact with the current owner. While there, we made contact with Blank, who advised the following. Although she knew the Ferriters, she had never been inside their residence, but stated the current owners had noted a creepy room in the garage. When asked to expound further, Blank stated the room was only able to be locked from the outside, and she only saw the walls, but stated the current owners had it removed. I conducted a sworn recorded interview with Blank, who confirmed there was a room in the garage. He had removed it because the room could only be locked from the outside, and he believed the room was made to keep someone inside of it. Blank advised the realtor for the Ferriters described the room as a bonus room. However, when he was shown the room, it had a small child-sized bed inside with a comforter. Blank provided me with inspection documents for the residence, which showed photographs of the room. Although the Ferriters purchased the residence in 2014, it is unknown when the room in the garage was built or how long Blank was locked inside. So that's their probable cause to arrest this piece of crap. Okay, let's see what else we got here. We have Tracy Ferriters. Yeah, this is for her. Let's see. Incident report. Tracy. Let's see what this says. Oh, here's more. Okay. Upon arrival, we met with Blank, Tracy, Christine Ferriter. She advised the missing juvenile has run away before and hides out until he feels ready to come home. She states he has ADHD and reactive attachment disorder and causes him to become upset, and he does not like confrontation. Unbelievable. The above was captured on body-worn camera. So just so you know, I have requested the body-worn camera. I have to wait. It's a different department that's going to be sending that. So we should be getting the body-worn camera from this. This one says the event report for Ronan being missing. It says made contact with Tracy, who advised Blank has not yet returned. She will call Jupiter PD with any updates, but did not seem overly concerned, as he has done this before. See notes at the end of this report. Okay, nobody respond. Okay, here we go. This is on 4/19/2022. So now we're or 1/30/2022. Nobody responded to the door upon knocking, so I placed a call to Tracy, recorded line. Maybe I'll get that too, and on body worn camera. Nothing was seen or heard through the side lights of the front door. Made contact with Tracy, and she advised nobody is home. Blank at JHS with band and blank at JCC with sports. Tracy advised she has not heard from blank and does not know his whereabouts. I asked if there was a chance he snuck back, and she said no, due to the locked doors. I asked Tracy if she could give us the code to the front door lock so we could go in and do a sweep of the residence, and she said no. Blank and dogs inside the residence. I asked Tracy to call the PD upon returning home. Tracy said she will, but did not think he could be there. Body worn camera used. Blake has been gone for 2 nights before, has lived in the house for about a month, and they kept calling her to find out if he came home. She didn't give a shit. And then here's another one, another police report. Oh, this is when they put the drone up. It says, advise they have not had any calls for service other than in September 2021 for stolen mail. That's the only time they were called to the Ferriter house. Wow. So what do you guys think? I've got something else too before we end this. Yes, Lexi, you're gonna have to replay Crew. Myron, I hope he does. I hope he does. I mean, I don't know how you can justify letting this guy out at this point. But let me show you another video that I found that someone had put together from his trial. I can't wait to get the body-worn camera for this. These people are just pieces of work. You know what? Okay, this video right here is called Tracy Ferriter Violates Court Rules, Taking Classified Evidence from Husband's Trial. I'm going to roll this footage for a second and go get a cup of coffee, but someone caught all of her bad moves and zoomed in for our viewing pleasure. Actually, watch what she does, and then we'll slow it down, and we'll watch and see what exactly she grabs, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Watch this.
All right, Ms. Black, you may proceed.
Okay, I'm back. Is this unbelievable that they got away with this? Look at her with her stickered laptop. Watch how the Miss Ma'am behind her tries to play it off after she lifts up her sticker-covered laptop like a 14-year-old. Watch how she puts her finger on her mouth, like playing it off like she's not doing something wrong. Then she turns around. Watch her look over her right shoulder and see that like reporter sitting back there. And then she rubs her chin on her shoulder trying to play it off. These people, they think they're slick, these people. They think they're slick. And I just can't believe the judge isn't handing their asses to them. Watch her. Watch the girl in the stripes. Oh, yeah, I'm going to pick my teeth. Oh, I'm really not doing anything wrong. Watch. Oh, nope, I didn't have my laptop out. Cheeky bitch. I mean, if the judge didn't see it happening, he should know now that they did it. Look at this shit, because he had to say, no more devices. He's like, no more devices. Psh, 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 psh. And who's that? Her attorney? Is that her lawyer? Her lawyer is sitting there going over evidence during Tim's trial. And I hope to God that blonde lady is not the one that adopted the child. If that's her mother, Lord help. Meg, I wish I could have went. Maybe I'll go to hers. Maybe I'll plan on going to hers. If I can plan it, I'll have to get a hotel because it's like 4 hours away from me, but I would love to go to hers. I can't even believe this girl's a lawyer. Who's that? It looks like Reverend Donna. I mean, she's literally preparing for her case in court. I don't know where Stephen King went. Yeah, they were taking pictures. Yes, Amy. Absolutely. Amy, are you in our Discord? If not, you need to get your booty in there. Jay Baloo, you're near West Palm Beach? Yeah, they did, Shell. They did say no more devices. But the fact that they even got away with doing it this long is mind-blowing to me. I have a friend in Port St. Lucie. I don't know how far that is. And see, the prosecutors she's right behind them, so they can't see it. I'll get the Discord link in chat right now for members. The invite. The invite for members. Join us on Discord. It's a good time. Lisa, we already watched the hearing. Now we're covering other stuff. Thank you for being a Rewind crew, though. Thank you for guys for being here too. Okay, create invite. Here we go.
Cars, you have no cars for that time.
Oh, I think she should have been kicked out too. Oh.
Come on, there. Come on.
Myron, did you get in?
Hey, here's the phone. Go, ready back time and get your cars from your room. Okay, man, we gotta go. No, Alan! No. No, Alan! There, let's go, hurry. Oh, no, you have no cars. You have no cars, oh, no. Go get your cars.
I don't think she was offered a plea, guys. He was. I don't think she was. Look at that reporter on the left. Look at her face. She's appalled.
I want to see the screen.
And look at these two. They're not even fazed by this. Flabbergasted. Thank you for being here. Thank you for chatting. It's nice to see ya. We have an action-packed show for 3 o'clock today, guys. I don't know. Maybe someone should email this to the judge. What do you think? It'd be great if I got that body-worn camera right now. Nothing yet, though. I just checked my email. But I do have an action-packed show tonight. Or today.
No, I have to just.
You have to watch it?
No, I have to like move the things. Okay.
We're going to be talking about Brian Koberger's aunt. We're going to be talking about the Crumblies. I have an update on Chris Watts. I have some scary news about 23andMe, the genetic site. I have an update on Danilo Cavalcante. And I also have an update on Caitlin Armstrong. When I said we had a packed show, I meant we had a packed show today, guys. 3 o'clock Eastern. I've got lots of news. Potato. The judge would need 5 to 10 business days to figure out what the vid is. Yes, I have a Chris Watts update. What? We got lots to go over today. There's a lot going on. And then next week, Nils is coming on. We're going to get with him. Nils! What's up, Nils? Hope you're having a good day. Hello, Miss Beth. Gocha says, what?
What? Listen. No, you don't run the place. Guess what? I do today. Listen. No, you don't run the place. Guess what? I do today. Listen.
What are we doing on the couple? I'm looking at it. To what? Nice. What's it going on? What's all this stuff? Huh? It's nothing. So what were you just saying? Yeah. Huh? Step aside. Are you doing anything you shouldn't have done? No. Playing any games? No. Sure. Yeah.
I used to have a JLR emoji. I need to get it back in there. No, Mrs. Kurt. He has to think about it. He has to think about it. The judge had to think about it.
Yeah. Tell me now.
So this is her acting up. He looks a lot different here than he did in the hearing yesterday, huh? Amy Perry, we need you at the Delphi. We need you at Delphi hearings for sure. But they're going to be in Allen County. That's far from you, isn't it? Meg P, if you get any good sound bites, go ahead and screen record them like on your phone and just send them in Discord. Send them to me. Flabbergasted. I got pounded with a super sticker. Thank you. Thank you for the 2 pounds. Did you see the defense and prosecution in Koberger got his medical records under a protective order? Interesting. I did notice that, Patty. He is turning a little bit gray. Sally, I have a picture of that house. I don't know if you're the one that posted it, but it was sent to me. It looks so much better. The Watts house. Amy, that's awesome. Get with us in Discord and we'll cover that with you. Awesome. Amy Perry. Love it. Love it. Amy Perry's going to be our Delphi girl. Combat Vet, hello. Can you believe that the judge had to think about whether he's going to let him out or not? I know someone said it's, for appeal purposes. I get that, but man, it's maddening because anything where someone hurts a child, you just don't expect any kind of leniency, And just to think that they were out pre-trial is bad enough. But to come in here on Tracy's birthday, yesterday was Tracy's birthday, to come in here on Tracy's birthday and be like, oh, I want to get out. I'm going to see if I can look up the Palm Beach County property records and see who owns that house. We need to look by address.
He said he was done with his homework, but he was still on his computer because it's something to do.
What were you searching?
This customization thing.
What?
Customization thing.
You're supposed to be doing that on your Chromebook?
Do we know Aussie's name?
Restricted, does that mean you should take $10? No. Right.
So you finished all your homework?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, all right. Take the Chromebook then. Take it. So you say you're searching customization?
Check this out. This is Palm Beach County records. Let's see if we can find. Look at how many Ferriters there are. Warren and Betty. I wonder if that's his parents. There's a lot of friggin' Ferriters. I don't see them though. Weird. Nothing came up. Let's look in the tax thing. I might need their address for this one, though. Oh, I can search by name. Okay. Timothy Ferriter. No results. How is nothing coming up for them? All right. I got to find their address. Give me 2 seconds to find their address. "268 Swallowtail Lane." 268 Swallowtail Lane. No results. Am I doing this wrong? There it is. Oh, what happened? Here it is. Oh, owner Anthony Tanona and Lindsay Tanona. That's who owns it. Let's see who Anthony Tanona is. If that's Aussie, I'm going to shit. Because you guys would be right. Anthony Tanona. Who the fuck is this guy? Anthony Tanona. Dr. Anthony Tanona? Psychologist? This dude is who bought their house? He is the director of the Jupiter Psychological Group. He provides counseling for ADHD, depression, anxiety, coping with divorce, oppositional and defiant behaviors, and anger management. Was he the doctor they went to? Isn't that weird? I need to see what you guys are saying. Who cares who bought the house? Well, because that's where they're getting their money from. Why would he buy the house? I don't know. Did the Ferriters even, I mean, it said they owned it. I was going to say maybe they rented it from him, but the judge just confirmed that they sold the house. So that's who bought it. And we have no idea if it means anything. We just were curious who bought it. But look. What does this mean, you guys? It doesn't state that the Ferriters owned it even in 2017. $649,000. Anthony Tanona owned it. Warranty deed, February 28th, 2017. Timothy Ferriter and Tracy, hereinafter called the grantor, to Anthony Tanona and Lindsay Tanona, whose address is 268 Swallow. So did they buy it from them? Because I thought they moved into this house in 2021. I'm severely confused. I thought they moved in December of 2021 and immediately built the room. You might, Amy. I'll check it out when we get offline here. Oh, okay. Emily says you won't see the past conversations. You'll just see the new ones. It was a life estate to Timothy. What does that mean, Sparkcraft? Yeah, what's the $10 thing? What does all this mean? It says the record date is 3/3/2017. Grantor is Timothy and Tracy. Grantee is Tanona, Anthony, and Lindsay. But like, what's the $10? Let's look. This is the $10 thing. Enhanced life estate deed. They got this house for $10? Grantor, Ferriter, Timothy Dune, individually trustee. Tim and Tracy Ferriter Trust. In 2016. What does this mean? Who is this doctor to them? Google Florida Ladybird. But who is this guy to them is what I'm saying. Like, how? Oh, that's weird. This is just odd. Oh, I don't know. It doesn't say he's in Arizona. But look it, they're on here in 2014 as well. Prepared by William Epstein. Warranty deed. Okay, this indenture made this first day of October 2014 between Michael Milstein and Stacy Milstein, whose address is 137 Tulip Tree. And Timothy and Tracy Ferriter. The title to the land. There's something hinky with this, I feel. And this is when they were building the house here. It's a brand new house. I just don't understand how they would get to get it in like a will or something. BTU, you have to give consideration for any contract to be legal. Sounds like a reverse mortgage type situation where they didn't truly own the home, just all the responsibility until it ends. Right. I understand like what you guys are saying about how the legal terms work. But I'm just wondering who the guy is that he's related to the Ferriters. Joseph, I'm interested because these people are child abusers. And I don't want people helping them. That's why I'm interested in who their friends are. Because anyone who can be friends or acquaintances or family with these people who had a child locked in a garage, that's why I want to know. That's why I want to know who these peeps are. Because I'm nosy like that. And when you commit a crime against children, sorry, but your privacy goes out the window. Goes out the window. So I hope that answers your question. I'm just curious. And I want to know who these people's friends are, just like the Aussie guy. means that the property has special conditions, and if they aren't met, it goes back to the grantor. So maybe he sold it to them on like a land contract. But what's crazy is they didn't move in there until 2021. So I'm just wondering why they were on all this paperwork for this house 5 years prior, plus had a house in Arizona. How did they?
Now publishing January 10th, 2022.
Joseph Ramp, no, I'm not looking for clicks. If I was looking for clicks, I'd be a lot more clickbaity than this. So let's go forward. We see her with her antics with the thing. Now this is when they get scolded, I guess you could say.
All rise.
Jury entering.
Oh, that must be her mother that mother has the children. That must be her mom right there that has the baby. She's as condescending as her daughter is. Did they not live there first in the movie?
Zoom
Yeah,
for
they lived in a different house.
the court's morning docket. The morning docket has concluded. So if you were
Hi,
here for an
Mike.
8:30 hearing, your matter has now been concluded, so you can go ahead and sign off. If you're here for the trial in State versus Ferriter, you can remain logged in. But otherwise, if you're here for the morning hearings, you can go ahead and sign off. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Yeah,
I think this is when he addresses it, isn't it? I can't with people coming in saying I'm clickbait. It's like, what? How is this clickbait? Thanks, Sparkcraft, for your information. Have a good day. Yes, if you find out anything, let us know. Let us know.
All rise.
The way that it was from the rest of the family.
I'm sorry.
Is there a negative impact associated with the social and physical isolation?
What are they doing back there? This is someone who clipped their antics. Look at this. Look at them. Look at this huddle. Damn, tenacity. I know. I've been commenting on Cardinal Dolan's Twitter on X. I've been asking him if he's sending well wishes to Timothy. Don't worry. Cardinal Dolan is getting comments from Jay is for Justice. Speaking of witches around a cauldron, we have a very spooky episode coming up on Given the Fallout podcast for October 31st. You're not going to want to miss it. Good morning, Ottawa. Is it cold in Ottawa? Look at these yahoos. None of them look like they could be fit to raise a child. They need a one-way ticket to hell is what they need.
The devil is dancing tonight.
Who's the blonde lady? Is that his mother? Did we figure that one out, that that's his mom? She does not look well. Tracy looks like she doesn't have a care in the world.
Experiences.
I think we talked about in general a child that this would be harmful. If a child has specific, because of their history, has behavioral issues or maybe even a medical diagnosis, does that change whether or not this is an appropriate type of punishment for a child?
Hour sessions. And the pediatric records around that time aren't real
Look at Tracy.
documentary of extreme behavior problems either.
Yet even, and then the parents respond.
She would even tap him on the shoulder
exact
and
same day by email.
whisper.
I haven't.
Let him finish his question, Ms. Copeland, then you can make your objection. But you are, let me have you approach.
Every time approach. Judge can't make a decision to save his life. Yay, visiting your daughter. How fun. Enjoy your visit. See, look at this is where he should not be. Look at this. Why was this allowed? Why was the defendant allowed to do this? Lisa Kay, that's what I thought. It was his mom. She's a mess. I'd be a mess if he was my son, too. They should not be allowed to do this. If cats had thumbs, when is he going to decide? Whenever he gets around to it. Yeah, I mean, they're giving papers back and forth. Look at this. It's insane. You see the caption, approach. I don't know either, Ms. That blew my mind that she was even there with her trial pending. I agree, Amy. I thought that was weird as well. But then when she was caught, like, getting discovery and stuff in the beginning. Hey, Flo, good morning. Flo is just getting out of bed.
Doctor, now, I don't know, a couple hours ago, I asked you about the ability to opine on a diagnosis without having evaluated a patient
No
or,
way,
or
Lisa.
an individual. And you'd asked me to show you the
What's BJJ?
section. May I approach, Judge?
You can approach Ms. Coakley first. Explanation as to what you think you want to do? All right. So,
I didn't know we had a hearing until I saw it
I'll punt right
posted.
now.
I
I
was
won't
like,
do
what?
anything. But I am going to want to address it at the earliest opportunity that you've had a chance to look at it. Ms. Murad, you look like you have something for me. You have anything for me? Okay, yeah, let Ms. Coakley take a moment to look at it. And all I really need to know for
wow.
scheduling purposes is there's something I'm going to have to address and rule
So
on.
you met Ronan?
As soon as you folks come to that determination, let me know,
How
and then I'll
awful
do
for
what I
you
have
to
to
hear
do as far
about
as
this.
scheduling. All right, so we'll be in recess.
All right, that's the end of that. So let me take you guys back for a second to what we watched in the very beginning, the exchange of discovery. Watch this. Actually, I'm going to mute it and slow it down. Let's watch what she does, because this is the part that really caught me. I was like, what? See, there's something in a baggie. See this shit? What are they doing? See that? Look at him getting stuff out, handing it to her. Look at her. Oh, the judge is distracted, so I'll take this stuff now. What is it? Like a hard drive? Like a big black terabyte? She's giving it to her lawyer or whoever that guy is. What the hell was that? Look at her face. Look at her. Caught like a kid with her hand in the cookie jar. I'll see you at 3, jammers. Friday part 2, part 2. He didn't wear regular clothes. It was navy blue jailhouse. This is terrible. She's got an upcoming trial. And it's almost like the freaking attorneys knew she was doing it. And look at, they're like trying to hurry. Look at how sneaky. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. That's definitely a hard drive. That is definitely a hard drive. I mean, we have cameras on this and nothing's done about it. It's one thing to sneak away and get away with something, but when you're straight up on camera, I mean, what? Watch how she sits down like nothing to see here. Look at this shit. And then we get into her and the girl behind her taking pictures. You're welcome, Lisa. Watch the girl behind her now. I'm afraid they won't even do anything about it. They had to have seen it by now. I mean, the judge addressed it. He made them put their devices away. This was on, I don't know what date this was. Day 3. This video shows Tracy Ferriter and the people with her in blatant disregard of court rules expressed by the judge during day 3 of Timothy Ferriter's trial. They did this continuously while the state's video evidence was played. These videos were intentionally protected from public view, but are now on these people's phones. It also appears that both individuals were using AirDrop to send them to Tracy's laptop, and she was periodically clicking to accept the files, saying, "Awesome." None of them, including Tracy, had prior authorization from the judge to take photos or videos during the court proceedings. The judge was notified within the first hour of day 3 and swiftly addressed it. Looks of contempt on Tracy's face can be seen throughout the rest of the day. So this is day 3 of the trial. And she has an upcoming trial. And I wonder who that girl is behind her. Maybe she's with the lawyer. Is she like the paralegal? Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, guys. Why was she able to get away with this? And this girl's behind her thinks she's slick. Look at her laptop, though. That's not a professional laptop. I wish I could read lips. Look at her. Oh, I'm going to pick my teeth and pretend like I'm not doing anything. Look at that laptop. They are unbelievable. They piss me off. Right. No one saw it. I mean, they had to because the judge did address it. But all he did was tell them to put it away. Thank you. Thank you, Melissa F., for your Cash App. I just saw that. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So the judge said he has to make a decision. Let me search and see if he has made a written decision yet that's been filed with the court. It's noon the next day. Let me see. I'm going to look it up. My guess is no, there's probably nothing filed, but we'll look anyways. All right, here's his court doc. Click a tab to see. Okay. Court event form. I can't click it. Oh, wait. Yes, I can. This is a court event form. This is from yesterday. Bond hearing. Yeah, he hasn't made a decision still. This is the last thing that was filed in his case. Was the hearing for yesterday. Guilty, guilty, guilty. It should have been no bond. I mean, why would the judge even need to think about it? And why would that be a appeal thing? Notice of hearing. Yeah, he hasn't made a decision yet, guys. So that concludes our Ferriter special for today. I don't know, flabbergasted. We'll find out if he gets out. So, yeah, if you want to rewind, we did watch the hearing from yesterday. Timothy shook like a leaf. And again, I'm going to be live again at 3 p.m. for our Friday Live. And just a quick update of what we're going to go over at 3 o'clock. Caitlin Armstrong, the girl that took off to Costa Rica after being accused of killing a fellow cyclist. We have an update on Danilo Cavalcante. We have a 23andMe story, the genetic site hacked. We have an update on Chris Watts. We have an update on the Crumbly parents. And then we also have Brian Koberger's aunt. So we have a packed show, 3 p.m. We're going to be going over tons of stuff. So I will see you guys then. In the meantime, let's dance it out. Thank you for watching. Make sure you give this video a like. And when you subscribe, make sure you click all notifications. If you're already subscribed, go make sure and check you are not checked with personalized. Because if it's personalized, you may not get all your notifications. So that could be a problem. So make sure you check that for all. And I will see you guys at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Let's dance it out Punani style. Just for Punani.
Niggas wife me once they get that good punani.
Ooh, that was loud. That means I need to turn off my volume booster. Turn off. All right, let's dance it out, guys. Let's see if I can get this right this time. Be sure to check out my other videos and playlists for more true crime content. And if that's not enough, you can join our Patreon. Don't have a tinfoil hat? It's okay. We'll make you one. It's that easy. See you guys in the next video.
See you later. Bye.
I don't give a damn. I don't really care about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. You talk way too much. I have heard enough about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. 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 You wanna be with me. You wanna feel something real, but I'm feeling differently. You're making plans to get to friends, but don't wanna face the fact that I ain't got time, I ain't got time, I ain't got time for that. Staying up late, sleeping all day, dreaming about Cadillacs. Buying new shoes, hanging by the pool, sipping on Coke and Jack. Calling my phone when you feel alone, but I'll never call you back. 'Cause I ain't got time, I ain't got time, I ain't got time for that. I don't give a damn, I don't really care about you and your problems. I don't
Reverter.
give a damn. You talk way too much. I have heard enough about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. 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 You're mad at me for not giving you comfort.
Sing it, Punani.
I'm away so much and now you don't feel the way you felt.
That's
when we
okay
were
with
younger.
me.
But that's okay for me. 'Cause I don't give a damn. I don't really care about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. You talk way too much. I have heard enough about you and your problems.